The internet is about 50 years old, give or take a few years. Since 1983, the modern internet, as it is today, as we know it, has been around for 42 years. And the most satisfying thing to me, in my opinion, that I have ever seen on social media is when Stanley, who was a part of the Nook Boys, he's like basically the living room rug or the bathroom rug of comparison to the Nook Boys. He's there because he kissed a lot of asses. He betrayed Steve will do it because he used to be his assistant. Anyway, the point being is the most satisfying thing that I've seen is when he was brutally embarrassingly talked down to by Andrew Schultz on his podcast on Full Send. Not his podcast, but the Nook Boys podcast. Here's a little clip of that.
Can you give me an example of when you felt that I was playing a character?
I think you need attention. I think you're doing anything you can to get attention. And right now you're making this podcast about you, which is the most boring part of the conversation. We have much more interesting people to discuss whose lives are more fascinating.
No. Oh, I don't ever want to do a podcast again, straight up.
Even that doesn't sound real.
You might have just retired him.
No, straight up.
I
ever do this shit again.
I honestly can't tell if you're playing a character or not. And I think that that's a real problem. I think it's a real,
how do I know that you're not playing a character right now?
You don't. You just have to decide if you do. The fact that you're upset makes me feel like you don't think I am.
Got it. Well, thank you so much for hurting my self-esteem and probably keeping me inside tonight. Hope you have a great night.
Even that's not real.
Yeah,
so
like real.
You're going out tonight.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm not.
That was satisfying and really, really funny. I mean, probably the most funniest that Andrew Schultz have ever been in his comedic history. The only tolerable thing that you can actually see Andrew Schultz in is that clip right there. The next clip is also probably the most satisfying thing to most people today. And that is Jack Doherty getting arrested.
What? All right, after I hit this hand. I'm about to go to jail. Huh?
Cops say filming content is not an excuse to hold up traffic. YouTuber Jack Doherty was placing an online bet when Miami Beach police told him to step out of the street and onto a sidewalk. But his plea for police patience was denied, and he was placed under arrest. Someone working with him caught the whole thing on video. So did police.
The weapons and the needles, anything can poke me. Oh my God. I don't think you understand, bro.
Doherty, who has garnered millions of subscribers with mostly daredevil acts, was released later on $500 bond. He immediately created content about the ordeal and showed off his mugshot.
I just got out of jail, guys, and I'm about to take my first shower since getting out.
Doherty was charged with resisting an officer without violence, possession of cannabis, both misdemeanors, and possession of a controlled substance, a felony. He didn't enter a plea to the charges against him. His arraignment is set for January.
So a lot of people dislike Jack Doherty, justifiably so, because he's irritating, he's a dickhead. There's a lot of things you can say about Jack Doherty that is absolutely negative, and it's accurate, I feel like. Anyway, that being said, in the context of that, I don't think he was deserving of being put in jail, because what was he really doing that was illegal? Impeding traffic? The cops were parked right there in the middle of traffic, a bunch of them in the middle of the street. If anybody deserves to be sent to jail for impeding traffic, is quite obviously the police. But, you know, that would never happen because they think they are above the law and people treat them as so. Anyway, Jack Doherty has some case, you know, because of that, what happened. So he's going to go to court for that. And a lot of people are celebrating. And I think is appropriate. That is appropriate, for sure, because it is Jack Doherty. You know, Stanley and Jack Doherty kind of look similar. They look like Matt Damon, if Matt Damon was autistic and had one of those autistic faces that a lot of these unfortunate but great people who are actually autistic have. You know the autistic face. I don't need to mention it or show it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not here trying to cross the line or disrespect autistic people. I'm saying they just look. They got the face of Matt Damon if he had Down syndrome. Because autism is a spectrum, a very wide spectrum. So what I meant to say is Down syndrome, for sure.